Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Malachi Amlachim, Akadosh Baruch. Oachem Nishalom, Malachi Ashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech, Malachi Amlachim, Akadosh Baruch. Baruni Shalom, Malachi Ashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech, Malachi Amlachim, Akadosh Baruch. Eichem Shalom, Malachi Ashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech, Malachi Amlachim, Akadosh Baruch. Die, 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 die. Hey, Shalom, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Melech, Malachi Amlachim, Akadosh Baruch. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharet, Malachi Elyon, Melech, Malachi Amlachim, Akadosh Baruch. Die, 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 die,
It is wonderful to celebrate Shabbat with you. Shabbat Shalom, as I turn on the microphone. Welcome to Shabbat. If you have candlesticks near you, a Kiddush cup, this is that time so that together as a community, though we are each in our many sanctuaries, we still are joined together virtually and we can welcome in Shabbat together. So this is that time. Grab your candles, grab a little bit of wine or something to drink so that together we can welcome in Shabbat. And as these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we in our own day be among those who kindle light, as we welcome in the light and the warmth and the peace and forth the joy. So we join together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. And if you turn now to page 123 in your Sidurim, your gates of prayer, listen to me. We're going retro tonight. Mishkan Tefillah. Back to 1979. Here we go. If you turn to page 123, we will stand, if you will, and we can make a Kiddush, Kiddushat HaYom, the sanctification of the day. We sing together the Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech kodesho, be'ahava v'ratzon inchilanu, zikaro lema'aseh v'reshit. Ki hu yom techiro, mikro kodesh, zecher letzion mitzrayim. Ki banu v'choto ve'otanu, ki rasha mikol ha'amim, v'shabbatot shecho be'ahava Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. And we say together the Chaim Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
This was a very long week. And I think the cold didn't help, although the sun today was amazing, and I am grateful that we had the sun. So we take a big deep breath again, in, and we let it out. Nichnas Adar marbim besimcha. When Adar arrives, joy increases. In case you didn't know, we are in a leap year on the Hebrew calendar, which means that we take all of the joy and the levity of the month of Adar and extend it for two whole months. This upcoming week, beginning January 31st, Monday night, we welcome in the first month of Adar, which is known as Adar Aleph or Adar 1. Why are there two Adars? The Hebrew calendar actually takes in mind both the moon and the sun. Our months are aligned with the moon, so every Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of the new month, falls on a new moon. The average lunar month, just to get sort of technical and scientific, is equal to 29 days, 12 hours, and 44 minutes. The average solar year is equal to 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 45.51 seconds. I did not calculate that, I found it. If we stayed on a strictly lunar calendar, our holidays would slowly rotate around the seasons as they do on the Islamic calendar. So if you have any Muslim friends and you are aware of when they are of the summer, it just keeps moving around. However, our holidays align to the seasons, Passover to springtime, for instance. And this is because the Torah tells us that Passover must fall in the springtime. To keep the holidays in their proper seasons, the calendar adjusts periodically. One of the ways it does this is by adding a month of Adar whenever Passover seems to move too far from springtime. In ancient times, this was done by people who were observing the moon, making adjustments, and all of this was announced at the temple. Since the 4th century, we have used a mathematic formula to determine when to add a month of Adar, which we now know happens 7 times within a 19-year cycle. But why double the month of Adar? Why not double Cheshvan? We think about it in biblical terms and use the biblical calendar, which counts Nisan, the month when Passover is the first month, starts in its right time. Adar is considered the luckiest month for the Jewish people. The Talmud even says that if you have to go to court, it should be during the month of Adar. It is also considered especially joyous. I mean, it is the month in which we celebrate Purim. And just for your information, when we have 2 months of Adar, the annual holidays that we celebrate during Adar, like Purim, are moved to the 2nd month of Adar. However, interestingly, during 1st Adar, we have what's called Purim Katan, or Little Purim. And it falls on the same date that Purim would have fallen had it not been a leap year. So in about 2 weeks will be Purim Katan. We don't celebrate Purim Katan like we celebrate Purim. However, it is recommended that it be a day that is a day of feeling festivity. And proverb quotes, "One who is of a good heart is festive always." So on Purim Katan, it's a great excuse to eat hamantashen. And what is bad about eating hamantashen for 2 months instead of 1? But by adding a 2nd month of Adar, the calendar and the rest, right now it might seem difficult to consider choosing joy. We are still in a pandemic with seemingly no end in sight. So what is there to be joyful about, you may be saying and asking yourself? If we think about the lesson of Na'aseh v'nishma in this week's Parashat Mishpatim, and if we think about Cantor Eicher's Shabbat message, perhaps what we do I know that sounds strange, but think about it. If you have to think about joy, or being joyful, or doing joy, it's highly likely that you'll say to yourself, I'm tired. I don't feel like it. I don't have time. I'll do it later. Because if we think about it, we'll convince ourselves we're not going to do it. Do something joy-filled. That is that na'aseh. We are just doing. Turn on some music. Have a dance party in your kitchen. Sing a song at the top of your lungs. Make a party just because. If you have to think about it, it's likely you won't do it. So, 2 months of Adar, much better than 2 months of Av, Av being a mournful month, or 2 months of Tishrei. We don't want Yom Kippur twice. So 2 months of joy. So starting Monday, I challenge you to 2 months of joy, and follow the advice of our ancestors at Mount Sinai, and say with me, it doesn't have to be big. You just need to be joy in the months of Adar. And perhaps after 8 weeks, joy will be a new habit. Mi shenichnas Adar marbim besimcha v'na'aseh. When Adar arrives, joy increases, and we make it so. And so, as we look ahead to this new month of Adar Aleph, we offer a blessing. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Adar Aleph, Yihiyeh B'Yom Shlishi. The new month of Adar Aleph will begin on Monday evening. And I wish you so much joy in these months of Adar. Shabbat Shalom. And we continue now in our prayer books, because Shabbat is that time of joy, and we welcome in and usher in that joy in the form of a Shabbat bride as we join together singing Lecha Dodi on page 138 and 39.
Lechadoti likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoti likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Elam yuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. V'shemo tiferet v'litira. Lechadoti likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoti likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lechad Shabbat echu v'nercha. In kol haberacha lerosh mikeret. Mitzvah ma'aseh v'machshavat tfilah. Lechadoti likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoti likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala. Kam b'simcha u'v'tzola boi bo. Lechadoti likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoti likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoti likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadoti likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela.
We remain standing, and if you are following along in a prayer book, we turn to page 146 for Baruch Hu.
Baruch hu et Adonai. Baruch Adonai. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Le'olam va'ed.
And we join together in the words of Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, bore yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzivaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 150, we read together. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated, and we'll join together at the top of page 154, chanting Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonayu Advarim ha'ele Asher Anochi Metzavecha Hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha V'dibarta bam Beshivtecha bevetecha Uverechtecha vaderech Uveshochbecha uvekumecha Uksharetam leot al yadecha V'chayu litotavot ben einecha Uchtavetam al mezuzot beitecha Uvishearecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם Emet.
Page 156, we join together. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You performed miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Page 158.
Ikamoka ba'erim Adonai, Ikamoka ne'tar ba'kodesh, Ikamoka ba'erim Adonai, Ikamoka ne'tar ba'kodesh, Seifele, Ikamoka ba'erim Adonai, Ikamoka ne'tar ba'kodesh, Ikamoka ba'erim Adonai, Ikamoka ne'tar ba'kodesh, Tegilo, Sei, O Seifele Malechutecha, Ba'uvanecha, Okei hayam, Ifnei Moshe uMiriam, Ze'eri, Anu ve'amnu, Adonai Yiro, Le'olam va'ed, Ikamoka ba'erim Adonai, Ikamoka ne'tar ba'kodesh, Ikamoka ba'erim Adonai, Ikamoka ne'tar ba'kodesh, Torah Tegilo, O Seifele ve'ne'emar tifata, Adonai et Yaakov, Ke'alo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Ikamoka ba'erim Adonai, Ikamoka נעתר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נעתר בקודש, נורא וגילו. עושה פלא, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נעתר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נעתר בקודש.
And we continue with Hashkivenu, our evening prayer for peace. Page 160.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום, להעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us how to walk upright, O Adonai. Amen, 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 amen,
Page 163.
A thought has blown the marketplace away. There's a song on the wind and a joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, gathering a song in the twilights of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Adonai, Smatai, Smatai Titan, Ufi, Yaki Tequila, Tevan. Adonai, Smatai, Smatai Titan, Ufi, Yaki Tequila, Tevan. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There's a song on the wind and the joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, gathering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Adonai, Svatai, Svatai Tivtan, Ufi, Yagi Tequila, Tevan. Adonai, Page 168.
66.
66, thank you. We were doing the abbreviated version. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'konei Hakol V'zocher Chaste Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'ezrat Zara, page 168, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Mashif HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Holim, Hu matir asurim umekayem emunato lishenei afar mi chamocha ba'al gevurot hu mido meroch melech memit umekayeh umatz miach Yeshua V'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. Page 170. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. Cantor, I have a question for you.
I'm all ears.
As we were praying the Gevurot, and I'm thinking we're about to add an extra month of our American mindset. Next week is Groundhog's Day. So does that mean because we've added an extra month that we do have an extra 6 weeks of winter?
The more compelling question, I think, too, might be, is a groundhog kosher? Because if a groundhog isn't kosher, then I think that entire rule is moot.
This is true. Although, in the moment, I also thought of a blessing for an extra month of Mashiv HaRuach. And because it is a request for rain, and it really has to do with the land of Israel, an extra month of rain in the month of Israel and in the Middle East in general goes a really long way. So there is the blessing of an extra month of rain in that mindset. We might not be wanting.
Snow was in Jerusalem this week.
Well, it still is water. It's water once it melts. So as we think about gratitude and joy, being thankful, finding those small moments, we turn to page 177. And I want you to close your eyes for a moment and to think of this past week, no matter how long it was, how difficult it may have been. I want you to find one moment of gratitude and hold on to it. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sasa ulacha na'eh lehodot. And we now turn in our prayer books to our prayers for Israel and our prayer for our country, to page 376 and 377, as we join together. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. And together, a prayer for the state of Israel. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. And now, at this time in our service, we turn our thoughts, we turn our hearts and our prayers to those who are in need of healing, be it a physical healing, a spiritual or emotional healing. And tonight, if you are thinking of someone who is in such need, I ask that you call their name to mind, and I ask that you rise at this moment and now call that name aloud, sending it into the universe. And we take all of those names that were just called aloud and all of those names that are in our hearts, and may God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit as we join together now in singing Mishaberach, our prayer for healing.
May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Let's those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
We take a moment for silent and personal prayer.
Son imrefi והגיון ליבי לפניך יהיו לרצון אמרפי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני imrefi, eyon libi lefanecha, iyu liratzon, imrefi, eyon libi lefanecha, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, begoali, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, begoali, yiyu liratzon, imrefi, lefanecha.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Rosenberg, representing the United Hebrew Board of Trustees. I love saying that. Next Friday evening, which is the beginning of February, hard to believe that a month is almost down of this new year, we will be back in person for those who would like to join us in person. Masks will still be required and social distancing. Tomorrow at UH, Torah study will begin at 9 a.m. via Zoom. Shabbat morning services and the bar mitzvah of Jack Berger will be at 10:30 a.m. And at 6 p.m., we will usher out Shabbat with our Next Week Now Havdalah via live stream. And you can find that also on Facebook Live. And upcoming events, February 18th through April 3rd, United Hebrew is excited to welcome liturgist Alden Salavi back to our community for a long-term residency. We are really excited for this. And for additional information on other upcoming classes and programs, please visit our UH website. And thank you. There are not enough thanks and words of thanks for our tech team and to our tech team for making it possible each week for all of us to be together for Shabbat, especially when we are all virtual and don't have people in the building. And a reminder that our gift shop is open on Sundays when religious school is in session from 9 a.m. to noon. This Sunday, religious school is in session, so please feel free to stop by. And you can also
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה יוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי עמו. Page 591, ונאמר והיה אדוני ברוך יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Yes. Just a reminder, again, Cantor Eicher wanted to make sure that services next week are in person and virtual. You may make that choice. We turn to page 592 in our prayer books. This was certainly a difficult week in our congregational family as we said goodbye to so many, and a difficult week overall in our Jewish community as we said goodbye to so many. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. This Shabbat, the heartfelt condolences of our congregation go out to the families of Lillian Deutsch, Stanley Engman, Theodore Ted Jagist, Murray Marks, Susan Susie Tozer. We are in the period of Shloshim for Carrie Lynn Brown, Brian Lee Fitter, Evelyn Thelma Roth. This week, this Shabbat, we observe the yahrzeits and we lovingly remember Philip Albert, Anita S. Alexander, Sam A. Aronoff, Armin L. Bain, Lee Barris, Samuel Barnholtz, Harry Berger, Abraham Burke, Lee White Block, Fred Bomsey, Samuel J. Bronstein, Leah H. Kaufman, Rose Florence Coplin, Ann Lynn Citron, Herman Feigenbaum, Joseph Feldman, Irvin Fisher, Rebecca D. Franklin, Dr. Lawrence Friedman, John J. Gersman, Martha Glazer, Louis Glickman, Celia Goldblum, Louis Gollin, Jane K. Goodman, Orrin Hoffman, Mendel Jacobs, Ethel Jasper, Arthur Weil Johnson, Harry B. Kaplan, Dr. Milton Kardish, Berkeley Kirschman, Jackie Bernard Kleban, Grace Kreiser, Joseph Lasky, Frida Levin, Blanche Levy, Jenny Miller, Sarah R. Miller, Goldie Gollin Millstone, Louis Moss, Gina Moss, Essie Newman, Rose Oxenhandler, Ida Frank Peon, Sarah Siegelman Pollock, Ann Poscover, Gary Poscover, Kay Preston, Bessie Rader, Herbert Raskus, Peggy Grossberg Ross, Jack Rothman, Rachel Rothman, Stanley P. Sikowski, Pearl Sapin, Harry Scallett, Marvin Schneider, David S. Schwartz, Henry Schwartz, Melvin Scissors, Lazarus Siegel, Jack N. Simberg, Gertrude Gorman Stein, Max Stone, Esther Thurman, Karen C. Towerman, Hannah Warshaw, Robert D. Weimer, Benjamin Wexler, Eugene Blessing, as we turn to page 598 and we rise for the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal ve'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Bial uvizman kariv ve'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam Omei Omaya. Yit Barach ve'yish Tabach ve'yit Pa'ar ve'yit Romam ve'yit Naseh. Ve'yit Hadar ve'yit Halev Chata ve'nechemata. Damiram be'alma ve'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. And on this Shabbat this week before we enter the month of Adar, as we think of joy, how important, no matter what was going on in life, how important is gratitude and how important finding small moments of joy and moments to do joy. And so as we prepare ourselves, our souls, to enter into a new month, may it be a month in which, yes, we find peace and prosperity, but a month in which we stop and we do. We stop and smell the roses. We stop and find moments of gratitude. and we do joy, and we find moments of joy. And as we prepare to enter into a new month, we offer a blessing for the new month and the journey that we will make. I already did it.
We're doing page. I'm like, okay, I can improvise. Let's see, what will we do for the service today? We went retro at the beginning. We abbreviated the Amidah, and then we started mashing up the month in a traveler's prayer. I'm having a good week, getting off to a wonderful start.
This is why it's a blessing for a
Be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May this be our blessing. Amen. Be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. May it be a wonderful Shabbat of rest and peace.